The StreamElements sponsored stream. Is it worth it? Let's find out. As a reminder, I do stream to Twitch 3 days a week. I'm a variety streamer. I will leave a link to my channel in the description. What the goal of this video is to give a review of the StreamElements sponsored stream process. This is not necessarily a review of the game that was involved with the sponsorship, but a review of the process of the entire sponsorship and whether or not it's worth it for new or growing streamers. So let me tell you exactly how this sponsored stream came about. I received an email from a StreamElements representative saying that I had been invited to my first sponsored stream from StreamElements. I initially brushed this off as spam or something that would definitely not be worth it. But then I read into it more, and the more that I looked into it, the more that it actually seemed legit. And what led me to eventually doing it was the fact that it was sponsored by StreamElements themselves. StreamElements is a reputable brand, and it is used by hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of streamers out there in the world. I ended up accepting the invitation, and so came about the first sponsorship of my career. I ended up accepting the invitation, and that's how we ended up here. There's a full contract and terms and agreements and everything. It's all done very professionally. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes, shall we? The terms and agreements is the contract, and it is the first thing that you're going to want to read through. It's not that long. It's about 5 or 6 pages long. I had a lawyer friend read through it just to be sure. I'm sure that there wasn't anything funny going on, but I wanted to double check. There's nothing egregious or completely outstanding to it. The one thing that they do mention is that they have the rights to your likeness moving forward. So don't be surprised if you see your face as part of an advertisement for a future game of the one that you sponsored. A lot of the verbiage in the contract is very standard. It mostly just covers liability, and then it also covers the different talking points and other things that are required for you to fulfill your end of the contract, which I will go over. And that first thing that I mentioned are the talking points, and this is the big one. You're given a set of phrases and other metrics and talking points to bring up during your stream to promote the game as best that you can. Which again, considering that you're getting paid for this, it makes sense. Your goal is to promote this game as much as possible in the time frame that you're given. Speaking of which, before we go any further, let's actually go deeper into the actual requirements in order to fulfill your end of the contract and get paid. Number 1 is to stream for at least 2 hours of the sponsored game itself. This makes total sense, but the next part of that is that you have to stream 4 hours total, the other 2 hours of which can be your own content, but they need to have branded overlays that are provided to you. So even when you're streaming your regular content, you are going to be promoting the game. The nice thing about all this is that it is tracked within the StreamElements dashboard, so that after the stream you can very blatantly see if you've met the time requirements. They provide you with the links and the URLs to add in as a browser source in OBS or Streamlabs. The next requirement is that you need to have a certain number of people download, install, and play up through the tutorial in the game that you are sponsoring. If you do not meet the minimum requirement for those people that are trying out the game, you will not get paid. Let me make that very clear. In order to achieve the baseline payout for the sponsored stream, you need to have a minimum amount of people download the game and play up through the tutorial. You're given a referral link that you add in as a chat command, as well as a timer within your stream. People will click on the link, download the installer, play the game up through the tutorial, and then they will be counted as a new player. In the case of the game that I was sponsoring, it was just a minimum of 10 people. Those are the 3 bare minimum requirements in order to fulfill your end of the agreement. 2 hours of streaming the sponsored game itself, 2 hours of your own content with branded overlays, and then the minimum amount of people to try the game. But to go a little bit further into it, once you've hit those minimum of 10 people, you are given stretch goals that you can shoot for. For every 5 or 10 additional people on top of the baseline 10, you will get an added payout to it. You will get an added payout. My highest stretch goal for this particular stream was to have 40 people download, install, and try the game. However, the milestones all in between for the smaller stretch goals range from 15 people total to 25 people total, 30, and then eventually that maximum of 40. Again, for every milestone in between the baseline 10 and the baseline 40, whether it's, an increment of 5 or 10 people, you get an additional payout of anywhere from $60 to $120. The maximum amount of money that I was able to receive on my offer was $480. I've heard reports of people being able to earn up to a maximum of $600. So it's going to vary from sponsorship to sponsorship. Just keep that in mind. Another thing that I really wanted to emphasize for this review was the fact that you have these talking points that you do have to consistently bring up through the stream as more people come in. However, you are not allowed to badmouth the game. This is going to be difficult for some people, and I understand that, but your overall sentiment of the game has to be positive. You are allowed to give feedback on the game on things that they can improve, but it literally says in the contract that your overall sentiment towards the game must be positive. And again, that's totally understandable because they are paying you to advertise their game for them. However, once you've figured all of that out, then you get down to the actual game itself. The game itself, I'll leave up to you, but the game that I was chosen to sponsor is a game called Vikings War of Clans. This is a game that has been big. This is a game that has been big on mobile devices for many years and now is coming to PC through a native desktop app. The exact goal for my sponsorship was to have people try out the PC version of the game. If they downloaded the game on mobile, it would not count towards the new players. I know what you're probably thinking already, because when you hear a mobile focused game, you're probably thinking of a lot of pay to win elements, and they do exist in this game. They have certain timers for upgrading your buildings, your troops, your fort, and so on. If you pay in real life money, you can decrease the amount of time it takes to upgrade something, or perhaps give you a booster that will just speed up how quickly the timers count down. And honestly, that's all totally fine. I mean, these developers can make whatever game that they want to. The reason that I'm bringing the game up at all, because I know what most of you are thinking. You're probably thinking, why in the world would I play a game like this? I'm a real gamer. I play games on consoles. I play games on PC, whatever it is. I'm gonna stop you right there, and I'm going to give you one really good reason that if you are a growing or aspiring streamer, that you should take this sponsorship should you be offered it. If your dream job is to one day become a big streamer, you're going to get a sponsorship at some point. This might not be that big brand name sponsorship that you probably want from something like G Fuel or Logitech or Corsair or whatever big name brand that you would one day hope to represent, but it's still good experience. There's still a contract, there's still a payout. There is real money involved. I know that for me, while the game personally didn't match up exactly with my content, I'm still happy that I went through this for the experience. Speaking of real money, this leads me to the last point, and that was the payout process. And I cannot give StreamElements high enough praise for how seamless the payout process was. You will receive an email to create an account for the payment portal. You create the account, you'll enter in your information, and then a few weeks will go by, and eventually you'll get a direct deposit into your account. It's really seamless. There's no tangible paperwork or anything like that. It was really, really easy, and I cannot give them high enough praise for how seamless it was done. To recap, if you are a growing or aspiring streamer and one day it is to be your dream job to stream and perhaps get sponsored by your brand of choice, I highly recommend that you try out this sponsorship should you get the offer. It's good experience to have. At the end of the day, knowledge and experience is priceless. That's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, remember to like, subscribe, and join the Noti Gang and ring the bell for instant notifications on when the next video drops. Again, as a reminder, I stream to Twitch 3 days a week. I'm a variety streamer. I will leave a link to my channel in the description. I'll catch you next time.